Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the livest podcast on earth, the Necessary, Unnecessary Podcast.
I think too.
I mean, this is a
need to be had.
This is a conversation for the community. So, with no further ado, hello. Welcome to the Necessary Unnecessary Podcast. I'm your host, Nip Swag. This is your host, Frisco in the building, and we have a very necessary family member. He's been on the show multiple times from way back in episode 30 and 20 and things of that nature.
Dang.
Ham.
What's up?
Real estate mogul extraordinaire.
Yep. Ham, you can add that. Community activist.
Football
coach, all around, giving back to the youth, giving back to the future.
Okay. Now, this is episode 96, and we're going to talk about homicide, genocide, and suicide. So, you know, as you scroll and you go down your rabbit holes and the websites recommend stuff for you to watch. Saturday morning, Swamp Story came up. And those of you who are not familiar with Swamp Story, they do like baby documentaries on beef in different cities. And, you know, I didn't think much of it. I clicked on it. It said California's biggest rap beef. And I was like, oh, okay, let me see what they own. And what I saw blew my mind because it was the exact district, street for street, block for block, that Eric and I grew up in.
Yeah.
So, we want to talk about that because what unfolded in that documentary, I watched the whole thing. It was like, oh no. You know what I mean? And I kept watching it. It wasn't like I didn't know majority of this information, but to see it on TV, on YouTube at 500,000 views in 2 days made me think like, oh, this is really real. You know what I mean? It just made it more like accessible to the rest of the world. Because usually when you tell people, oh, I'm from San Francisco, they go, San Francisco.
Golden Gate Bridges.
You know what I mean? They
Golden Gate Bridges.
San Francisco. Ain't nothing going on in San Francisco. You be like, man, it is a baby Baghdad, that thing.
I think so, and I think the main part that really blew my mind about it, blew all of our minds about it, was that the generation of the kids that were actually passing away inside of the documentary, these were our friends' children.
Yeah, our kids.
Which was a mind blower. So I think for me it was both. It was very, very interesting but painful at the same time. I think the pain of watching another generation get wiped out like that was it was unbearable.
And that's what he said in there that really, like, I watched the whole documentary, and at the end of it, he was like, Fillmore basically just wiped themselves out. And I'm like, yeah, you know. I left a couple of comments on there. One of my comments like, look like we all lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Nobody won. Who won? Nobody won. We all lost. Yeah. I can't remember the other comment I left, but I left another comment. But, you know, I really didn't want to say nothing. I got to calling people and saying to people, like, look at this, like, look at this, like, look at this. And it was just I didn't want to be the only one that seen it. You know what I mean? And I knew it was relevant to a lot of people because anybody that has to listen to any of my history, they be like, okay, that don't have a frame of reference of, and they meet me now and be like, you ain't been through nothing.
No, he couldn't.
Right.
Not you.
Right.
Couldn't be.
No, so it was just a good, like, this is what we had to come out of.
Yeah, I think another frame of reference is this too, was that, you know, this is another generation that was basically wiped out, but just, you know, to the sisters too, like that was a generation of leaders, possible leaders, possible fathers, possible people who could create change.
I mean, a lot of them had kids already. You know what I mean? It wasn't even possible. For real, they had kids.
Yeah, so
you know?
it just goes back to the point that sometimes we can't calculate the amount of destruction that we do to each other unknowingly. And this was a plan. Now, you figure our generation growing up in Fillmore, it was hard to go to a person's house and they parents or uncles or cousins wasn't part of the Black Panther movement. They weren't part of something that was civil rights movement, something that was to enrich the community.
Pan-African People's Organization.
Yeah, all of that, right? Like for real. And this is these are their grandchildren and great grandchildren that we literally saw being wiped away based on the foolishness that was going on.
I remember somebody told me, like, in the in the midst of me when I was outside or stuff, he was like, y'all just tearing apart the whole community, because when you in it and you got problems like that, you don't recognize how it's affecting everybody else around you. You know what I mean? You putting your family in jeopardy, you putting your loved ones in jeopardy, you putting, you know what I mean? Like, putting your future in jeopardy, you putting your freedom in jeopardy. You're not, all you thinking about is this beef. You know what I mean? You wake up beef, you go to sleep beef, you around every corner beef, and you ain't looking at nothing else but, because you're in survival mode. It's hard to pay attention to anything else but staying alive when you know it's somebody that might want to knock you off at any turn you make.
But why? Because from the little clips that I've seen, it's like, where did this shit even start? Like, did it start with the young niggas? Was it the older niggas? Like, was it the new generation?
I mean, it started with Cain and Abel.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Here he go. I'm talking
Cain
about...
was jealous and killed his brother.
So what you're saying is the beef...
But it
originally started with, like, somebody was basically hating on somebody else from another
area. You could get technical about it, but it's not just San Francisco.
Oh, of course not.
It's Oakland,
this
it's
is
Richmond,
everywhere in the world.
It's the world.
It's the
You know what I mean?
So
everybody had a different reasons for it, but it's ingrained in the fabric of not even, and it ain't just black people. Look at the mafia, you look at the Yakuza, you look at the, you know what I mean? So it's not, it's I ain't gonna say it's human nature, but it's been happening since the beginning of time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It have, but
not to this extent.
Not to this extent to where you see the black man in North America has a particular heinous hate for himself.
Right.
And it, me and you talked about this earlier. I mean, this community was literally wiped out. Right, and it is something that is unique to this part of the world, and the black man and woman in this part of the world. Why? Because we the only people who was taught really bought from a whole nother place, right, and then cut off from that place, and then taught to hate ourselves and make everything else lovable. So if I don't see the value in you as a human being, see, that's what's missing, is the value of I'm taking a human life. And when you take a human life, you're taking away all that life has all possibility. We don't see that in each other. We don't see it in ourselves, and it makes it easy. It makes it an easy pathway for us to harm one another.
Okay, I see that in other human beings up until the point where I think you're trying to take my life. Now I don't see the value in your life no more, because a lot of people are not aggressors in these situations. You know what I mean? Some people, like, it's people that just literally decided one day they wanted to knock me off. What can I do about that? And then started moving forward on that. So what do? Be like, hey, brother, I value your life. Don't try to knock me off. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not realistic for a certain mindset.
Right, in context. Right, like when you're in survival was survival. But I think her question was more to the origin. Where did this start? And what it started from was, right, that was the origin of it. It was the self-hate piece that was taught to us. It was taught to us in slavery. We some of the only people on the planet Earth who have been taught to serve somebody else before we serve ourselves. And if we did serve ourselves, it was not okay. Like, it was punished by, I'm just saying this is a conditioning, right?
Yeah.
We have this conditioning, and even though it didn't manifest to even though it didn't manifest to the level that it is, that we saw on the documentary back then, that was the origin of it. So if we were to go back to biblical times and see, you know, and we see we see the snake in Genesis, right? But you see the dragon in Revelations.
Yeah.
Today we looking at the dragon.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna answer the question. So specifically to Fillmore, to me, this is my opinion, not alone, but you know, you could choose to agree with it or not. When I grew up in the 80s and 90s, it was a lot of fighting going on.
That part.
We would meet up, it would be one fight that turned into 15, 20 fights, right? And, you know, it would be big old fights. Hey, shut down a whole 3 blocks fight. You know what I mean? And it would be resolved after that fight. You know what I mean? Everybody would go on about regular business. They'd get it in. It'd be wins and losses. It'd be big old brawl. It was fighting. That was the late 80s, early 90s. Mid to late 90s, I would say it began with B-Lo getting killed. You know what I mean? That sent shockwaves through the whole community because it was uncommon. He was a very popular figure. Everybody knew Trey B-Lo. You know what I mean?
Talented.
Yeah, he was just a charismatic guy. You know what I mean? He was the Tupac of Fillmore, if you will. You know what I mean? They killed Trey B-Lo. And it happened within. It wasn't like somebody came from outside and did it. Like it was a, you know, in-house thing. It seemed like that was like the Crispus Attucks and the Martyr, because after that it became okay to resolve your differences with gunplay. And, you know, then the fight ended in gunplay. We would start off fighting and then somebody be like, man, forget this, blah, 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 blah. You feel me? And, you know, somebody may or may not get hit, but I think some real issues between some real turf arise, and niggas really start getting knocked off, and then inside on clicks, niggas start falling out, and then once you just turned on that faucet of blood, it just didn't stop, and now every issue is resolved. Niggas ain't even fighting no more. We skip straight to shooting. Ain't been near fight. Oh, you stepped on my shoe.
Right.
Oh, you did it.
I do agree with you, but then it was also a hidden hand involved in it too. And what we had that was different from what these kids didn't have was we also had OGs to tell us we were stupid.
And the young cats didn't start listening. Once them pistols came in play, they like,
I don't have to listen to you. And then what the police did and the federal government did was started to take them OGs off the streets, and them OGs was getting 30, 40 and 40 years. So the cats who was really, you know, the cats who can really step in and solve the problem or tell that youngster who used to tell us we stupid, right? You did what?
Yeah.
You stupid.
Man, come down. I'm finna come down there with you. We finna resolve this right now. Y'all finna have a one-on-one right now.
So now
I'm gonna fight this big homie, and you know what I mean. Like it was order,
yeah.
But after the order, it was chaos.
It was chaos, and you talking about that event that happened with Trace with Trey B-Lo. I mean, that was a pivotal event because it sparked the shockwave off of that. Took a lot of brothers that could have solved these small problems off the street. Now, truth of the matter is, when you look at that documentary, them was small problems.
Yeah.
But they was going all the way, but somebody would step in. You know what I'm saying? Like when we was coming up, somebody that was missing. So it's always a hidden hand at play, though.
After a certain point, though, it wasn't no more stepping in, though, for real, though. I see a lot of people trying, and I mean, more power be to you. Keep on trying, for real. But I think that the element of survival is going to trump anything. Like, when I was really in survival mode, I had a bunch of people trying to talk to me, but it's like, you're not with me all the time. I have to do what I have to do to survive. You know what I mean? So I hear you, and that might make sense to me later, but right now, I can't think past a minute.
So, question. Who started in Fillmore?
Fillmoe.
Because we in Fillmoe, excuse me, I say it with the mo. Rapping about it after it happened.
Oh, that was them young cats.
Putting it on social media.
Yeah, that was them young cats. We wasn't doing that.
Well, we didn't have social media.
We talk about it back then.
Right. So that just made it even worse, though.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't wanna blame Chicago, but the drill music kind of started in Chicago, and then it started like popping up everywhere. And now Atlanta doing drill music, Florida doing drill music. You know what I mean? Now everybody's doing drill music because they're basically telling on themselves and telling who they beef with and telling. But and it's like, why are you talking about what you're doing? But my OG folks told me that one of the young cats told them, what good is it to kill somebody if don't nobody know you did?
Oh my
like
God,
they're doing it for actual
shit.
Recognition at this point.
That is
you know
deep.
what I mean?
What good is it to kill somebody?
Yeah.
Nobody knows that.
And he was like, whoa, it blew his mind. You know what I mean? Like,
that's some ill shit to
right.
say.
But they want the acknowledgement from
stupid.
it because it feels like that gives them some kind of credibility or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but these cats be talking. I mean, it's different if you talking from your box in San Quentin where you finna be at for the rest of your life to your bones.
But you at your
and
house
you
chilling
that.
with your homies,
But
smoking
when
your blunt.
you chilling and you thinking you just
This
it's really
case
a
is open.
thought and it's really a thought and an idea that it's cool to do that. See, because what people don't understand is that this in the world, it's a life for a life. Right? If you take a life, your life is gonna be taken in one way or another, right? And it's different to sit, right? Like, and then there's people who don't. There's people who don't die, right? Like I got family members who got hit, and they in wheelchairs. You know what I mean? I got people who got hit, can't use they quadriplegics. They on colostomy bags. They got. I mean, it is a nasty situation. So everybody is cool and is glorified until they see the real consequence of it. Now, I think that part of it is the school system, the way that the school system is designed, because back in the days, you had to get your bully off you. You couldn't just talk to the bully. Like one day you had to get your bully off you, right? But you also knew there were certain things that you couldn't say, right? Because it was gonna be an automatic consequence. It was gonna be an automatic fight, or you're gonna have to fight somebody, brother. You say this, right?
Yeah.
Today, they kind of took that element away out the school system. Right, because now if they fight, or if you stand up, even if you stand up to your bully, right, you in trouble too. So people can, basically go ahead and do or say whatever without the cognition of a consequence behind it. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many layers. It's so many layers to it.
So I'm glad you brought up school, because one of the parts of the Swamp Stories talks about a star athlete who, after graduating high school, didn't go to college, didn't go to the league, he got in the game, you know what I mean, even though he was a star athlete in high school, and then came back and set up his football coach. And then
that was in Vallejo, wasn't it?
No, it was in San Francisco.
Damn, that happened in San Francisco.
Yeah, that happened in San Francisco.
Set up his football coach because he didn't go to the pros?
No, I mean, I guess he just felt like he was a lick, and then he went, but then ended up killing his football coach, and his football coach ended up killing each other, you know what I mean? So it used to be heavy into the sports, you know what I mean, when you was in high school. So how did that navigate you through where we grew up at?
What you mean? Like how did sports navigate? Yeah. So
keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, and you.
Because even you didn't make it to the league, you know what I mean? But you chose another path still. But a lot of times, sports will keep you on a good path and lead you out. You know what I mean? Even if you don't make it in sports.
Yeah, for sure. Because it puts you in around people, and you learn respect early. You learn how to respect your coach. You learn that respect ain't always nice. You know what I'm saying? You learn that you have to overcome certain amounts of adversity. You got to humble yourself, right? Because you ain't always gonna win every hit. I'd have been knocked out on the football field. I can't get up and fight. You know what I'm saying? But it's humility, and you still shake the person's hand at the end of the day. But that respect for that figure, that coach. Like we had Coach Greg Seahawks. Coach Greg was working in Fillmore. So almost all the people that they talked about, Coach Greg worked with. But it's certain things that I don't care who around. It's certain stuff just not gonna happen to Coach Greg. I don't care how thugged out you think he is.
Right.
It's hands off. So, now, and that's why I say it's stupid, right? Because you really, it's almost like, you cutting off your own lifeline. So if you cut off your own lifeline, what does that say? Right? And then it kind of spills over to the other part of the conversation.
Generations of, you know what I mean? Because he was young and coaching, and you know what I mean? He was invested in coaching the youth. You know what I mean? And those who had talent, he would, invest in so they could, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that
why would you take but why would you take that away though, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why would you even think to take that away?
Did they even find out why they killed him?
I mean, it was set up to be a robbery. You know what I mean? So
but somebody that's helping, like, why would you never bite the hand that feeds you? That's like universal law, you know what I'm saying? That's like universal law, but once again it goes back to another piece that I left out, that we've been through the crack generation, the pill generation, right? And all that, right? But a lot of these kids were conceived
crack babies. Them crack babies
on crack and pills. And these ones were conceived with pills.
These ones were conceived off of goddamn social media.
So it's a lot of brain, it's a lot of she said social media.
For real.
But it's a lot of brain damage. It's a lot of people born with learning disabilities and not the ability to be cognizant, and it goes undiagnosed, right? Like, it makes, what sense would it make for you to hurt somebody who helping you?
So
it don't make no sense.
The topic is homicide, genocide, suicide. So homicide, I feel like if your life is not in danger, then you should not be committing homicide. Not because you feel disrespected, not because so-and-so, you don't like so-and-so, this, that, and the third. Like, I'm the type of person, if I don't like you, I just want to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to kill because of these various reasons. If you are physically being threatened in a moment, then you have to defend yourself. So I'm all for that in that manner, but that's not homicide, that's self-defense. So that's the homicide. The genocide, bro, we killing our own army. We never gonna be fit to fight for anything if we keep fighting each other. We can't fight against nothing if we keep fighting each other. We can't fight against nothing if we keep fighting each other. Genocide, we doing everybody else's job for them. We killing. I remember hearing when I was in school, the black man is a dangerous species. Is a dangerous species. We making that truer and truer every day. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now we on.
Can I say something? Yes. See, they know that. Like, they see it. Like, it's a lot of stuff they don't say.
Women?
The women.
It's a lot of rowdy women, though.
No, what it is, but what I'm saying is women are looking at it from the outside looking in when we thinking we cool, right? Trying to impress them because I didn't hit a lick or did whatever. They see the real genocide. You can't talk self-preservation personally and not talk it culturally, not live it culturally. Them two don't go together. Either you just selfish and you don't care about nobody else, or you really believe in self-preservation. And self-preservation is for us to make it to the future generations so that we can keep living. Okay? So and what we're doing is we're going against life itself with the way that we thinking, the way that we processing stuff. So the number one thing I would say is, first, you gotta let go. You gotta let go of that. You gotta let go of the street life. You gotta let go of the rules that govern the street life. It's not a lifestyle. OG Monster Cody said that it's not a lifestyle, it's a death style. So the rules that we operate on can't do nothing but produce death. So we gotta come into something new. You know what I'm saying? We gotta come into some, just like what you were saying. Right, man? Nah, it ain't cool. It ain't cool to hurt another black man, black woman, another person though. Like that ain't cool.
Yeah.
And they ain't did nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? So
look, I've literally been in positions where I'd have caught people slipping that I knew that if they would have caught me the same way, that they would have tried to do something to me. But I didn't have to do it though. You know what I mean? I wasn't in no immediate danger, and I always felt like if you let a snake go and the snake come back to bite you, it's your fault to letting the snake go. But I wasn't in a position to where I had to do it. You know what I mean?
You could have been in the mall, just crossing paths.
I didn't have to do it. I wasn't in no immediate danger. And that's the difference between first degree and self-defense. So it's only a couple of seconds difference between self-defense and first degree. Because if you make a conscious decision to do something to this person and you could have walked away and you could have left and you could have got away, that's premeditated. Mm-hmm. Now, if you didn't have no chance to get away, if this person was finna do this and you had to do this to defend you, that's self-defense. So a lot of y'all don't know the difference between first degree, second degree, and manslaughter and self-defense. You know what I mean? It's seconds between each of them, for real.
So now we're gonna touch on the suicide part.
Yep.
That's gonna be interesting.
I mean, it's less. It seems like it's less than the homicide and the genocide, but I think we need to touch on suicide just for Young Noble of the Outlawz, just out of
the blue.
Yeah, it seems like, nowhere. But it ain't no telling
what he was.
We haven't really been keeping up with the Outlawz day for day, like when they were with Pop. You know what I mean? But for Young Noble to commit suicide is like, okay, what's going on? We need to stop and look and check on the people that are around us that we think are doing okay. You know what I mean? Our strong people, our people, check on your people to make sure they're good. You know what I mean?
You got something to say, don't you? Like you just cooking over there, like
I'm just thinking.
Suicide is.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Because you, like you say, you don't know what someone's going through.
Yeah.
And then they only show you one side. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he could have been battling something internally. He could have been, I think I read it has something to do with depression and I forgot what else it said, but I know depression was one of them. It could have been drugs. You know what I mean? Could have been divorce. It could have been a bunch of things. Career. You know what I mean? He probably was at a certain point in his life when Tupac was around, and now he's probably trying to get back to that point and never ever did. Could have been that. We don't. There could be a million things.
I'm not gonna speculate. I don't know what the cause of it was, why one would do that, but it definitely set off an alarm in my head to be like, check on your folks and have somebody that you can confide in enough to the point to where you can go to them and they will listen and, make sure you're good. That's important. You know what I mean? I've struggled with mental health issues. I've struggled with this, that, and the third, and life gets hard. You know what I mean? But if somebody is to the point where they're thinking about, sometimes it's subtle. Like people who really want to kill themselves, they don't give too many signs. If somebody want to be saved, they'll tell you, I'm gonna kill myself, and they'll take a 30 Tylenol, or you know what I mean, like stuff to get attention. Like it's a cry for help. Not even to get attention, it's a cry for help. Some people give cry for help. Some people give heads up. Some people, you know what I mean. But those who don't and they just quiet, you have to look for the little signs, and it takes somebody that really knows them to be like, bro, what's wrong? And they'll say nothing. But the people that really know you, when something wrong with you, it used to be people that could walk and be like, what happened? I'll be like, nothing. Yes, it did. Like it's all on your face. You know what I mean? I know you. So, and I would have to tell them, okay, this, but that's how things get resolved. Sometimes you have to step outside of yourself and eat. Like we said on the phone, having a higher power is an answer for a lot of, situations. And you know what I mean? Answering to something more than yourself will help you to, resolve issues, move past situations, not react in a manner that would be like, just outside of yourself, just because you feel in a certain way at a certain time. You know what I mean? So having that outlet or higher power or something bigger than yourself is detrimental in navigating the day-to-day and moving past things that happen in your past.
Yeah. I'm gonna share something with y'all, because y'all family. What's this? Our third show. Right. I never share it with anybody, but I'm gonna share it on your platform.
Okay.
And that is, the fact that I struggle with mental health issues, and I didn't know it from the time that I finished playing football. Right. So from that, and then and just the amount of violence that I saw. So there was never a period of my life where I didn't see violence.
Yeah, I know.
And I didn't realize it until I got older that I was suffering from depression. And then, when life started lifing, I was depressed for I was suffering with depression for probably about 10 or 15 years.
Didn't even know it.
Right. I'm just doing the illest stuff, and I'm hurting people, and I'm numb to what pain is. Like, it was, but not until I started going to counseling and talking. Like, the therapist told me, I want you to write down your happiest moments from 0 to 5.
Like what?
I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember being happy. What about from 5 to 10? And 5 to 10, I was like, dang, I remember, my mom was in domestic violence situations, and I remember seeing shooting and stuff. I'm looking out. I'm conscious of what's happening in KO. The level of violence that was happening inside the house and outside the house, I was taking it in, suppressing it, and football was a way of blocking it. But when I stopped playing, it hit like a ton of bricks. This is what I'm saying, is that not only was the counseling good, and I always found that my worst bouts with depression came when I wasn't right with God. When I was out of alignment with God was when I had my worst bouts of depression. But every time I get into alignment, and I'm talking about the praying, the fast, everything you're supposed to do, I can see the other side good. Like, it's cool. So a lot of us, like, going back to what you were saying, we choose the way out. We choose that way out, or we feel like that's an emotion. We feel like that's the only way out because we not tapped in, right? And that's a good indicator that we should go to prayer, go to meditation, go to counseling, and work on our mind. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for allowing me to say that, y'all.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is the necessary, unnecessary podcast, and today we just on all necessary, because this is just necessary. Like, you know what I mean? We could go about our day and we could talk about politics, we could talk about relationships, we could talk about this, but I mean, we need some type of unity and community and be able to build a bridge to these young cats that are. It's no bridges to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's very few bridges or outlets that, if they even did want help, for them to reach out to. It's here, but it's like, we gotta build these bridges.
But how?
I mean, I don't know. When I was younger, I went to the Ujima program. It was all kind of, you know what I mean? It was hella programs. I would go to, what was that up there on Potrero Hill? Omega Boys Club. I slid through there a few times.
A lot of that stuff
you know what I mean?
Because of funding.
Yeah, and that too. So it's like, we need to step up and at least, honestly, I will say, affect the people around us.
I see.
Because for me and my family, like, I don't play no games. You know what I mean? You're not finna do this. If you need and I'm calling to check on you even if I don't think nothing wrong with you. What's happening? You know what I mean? Because you never know. Like, if you just start with the people that's around you, that you got access to, that you care about you, that will listen to you, that can talk to you, just be there for them. And don't be so wrapped up and involved in your IG, what Trump is doing, what Diddy doing, what, you know what I mean? All these different things, what Bill is doing, all this stuff, because sometimes somebody right next to you needs you.
That's real. And I think, just to answer your question, is that too, we have to care about, like, we got to talk with the youth and not talk at the youth. We
gotta talk that, though.
We got to talk that. Right?
Yeah,
like,
we gotta talk that.
Right. So
We were tougher. They're a lot softer now.
yeah, and I knew that when we would go across the country and certain things like that, I knew I had to have my brother back. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't just, right, like, just have his back when it came to, you know, if we was about to have a fight or whatever. We was up in Maryland and cats called us out in Maryland. Right? Like, nah, it was if the man got a booger in his nose, man, that ain't the time to pull out your camera.
Out here.
Tell them, hey,
yo.
look out for each other.
Look out for each other.
Absolutely.
Each one teach one, right? If you got, just like what you said, you got something on your
Yeah,
jacket.
gotta make sure my brother fly. You know,
We gotta make sure we
Absolutely.
fly, we cool, like we
take
straight.
care of each other.
Every difference is not a cause for demise. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't got to kill everybody over everything, bro. That's not the answer. You know what I mean? Like, it just like, that's what it seemed like, though, growing up in Sarasota. It got to the point where you couldn't do nothing. Everything was a
threat to
death
your life.
sentence.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everything was a
life.
death sentence. Then you got smart with me. You said this, you said that, you did this, you did that, and everything just became a death sentence. Like, damn, you can't do nothing out here. You dumped my sister.
You dumped my little sister.
Yeah, you called my little sister out. Come on, man.
I also think too, like, when it comes to the boys, and you know, I'm very, very, you know, fanatical about helping the young black boys, especially the ones that come from single parent homes. Right? They come up with a different emotional regulation. Right? Like, so a lot, like, the emotional reflex of just wanting to do something, that you gotta do something, the conflict resolution piece, like what you was talking about, in seconds.
Yeah.
Right? Those seconds between doing something and not doing something could cost you the rest of your life.
Man.
But to teach these young boys, like, I do it through sports. I do it through sports. You know, they come out there, they got their hand on their head. One might come out with that. What is you talking? What did you do? Man, that ain't gonna change nothing.
Right. All that
Right?
tough stuff.
It ain't gonna change nothing, right?
Yeah.
But being able to teach these young boys and mentor them through their emotional dysregulation, bro, is one of the most effective things that we can do as adults today, right? Because again, it's cool. The emotional high is good when you're on Instagram and you got your views and you got your followers because you did something stupid. But the reality of it is, we also know people who sit behind concrete walls for the rest of the hardest cats is in two places. They either in concrete tombs or they in concrete walls. And when you get a chance to hear how the hope and the life comes out of somebody that's doing life, double life, triple life, right? Like, you hear the hope come out of
I heard somebody in jail ask a youngster in there, he said, how long did it take you to get 15 years? And he said, and it took him 2 minutes to get 15 years. So whatever crime he was convicted of, it was only a 2-minute time span, but because of that 2 minutes, he got 15 years.
Like that. I ain't gonna lie. I done been in jail a couple times. And
Look like you're in jail right now. Orange is the new black looking over.
really, Eric? God damn.
I'm not laughing.
This nigga showed the back of his mouth laughing. That's how y'all. Anyway, like I was saying, really? Get on my nerves.
Always trying to get everybody on their side. And come on the show.
I'm not.
You see how
Look
fast
at
in a
her.
split second.
Girl, say what you
That's
got
that
to
split
say
second.
about the penitentiary, bruh.
Not my penitentiary, bro. God damn.
About your biz.
First of all, okay.
man. Oh, boy.
I ain't never did no time. 12 hours was the most.
Oh, yeah.
And bitch, I was like, oh no, I can't do jail, honey. So anytime I thought about committing a crime or doing something illegal, I'm one of them people, I'd be like, wait, if I get caught,
Mm-hmm.
that means I can't smoke weed when I want.
I don't know.
I can't eat what I want.
I don't know.
I can't have sex when I want.
Come on now.
I can't go outside when I want. I can't wear what I want. I can't watch TV. I can't like wake up to my kids. I think about all that shit.
Yeah.
Anytime I think about doing something, it could be something small. Like you might be short on some money and be like, oh, I could do this little thing right here and not get caught. But then what if I do get caught? Yeah, no, I take my time and I think about the consequence, like you said, on doing things. Because when I was younger and did shit and got caught, I was like, now if I did something even more extreme, my ass really would have been in jail.
Yeah.
And I would have probably went to college. I probably wouldn't have been able to travel here and go there and move to Atlanta and do all the wonderful things I did. So yeah, no,
I think it was Sammy Davis Jr. that said, if you can't do the time, then you don't do
then
the crime.
I am one of them people.
It's your boy,
Bitch, I
Shabon.
can't. Yeah, I can't do nobody's time. I'm sorry. So I wasn't committing nobody's crimes. And they called me the square, the L7, because I was just like.
I mean, it'd be up. You know, you gotta make split second decisions
Fuck
that
that.
will, you know what I mean, and it just be tough. So I'm not taking away from anybody who's had to make those decisions, because I done had to make decisions like that in less than a second. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, like, again, I agree with that. Here's the other part, though, is that we also got to be responsible enough to keep ourselves, to do everything we can to keep ourselves out of those situations.
Yeah.
Situations that just pop up, you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But a lot of us put ourselves in those situations.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
then play the victim when it come time to
Man.
when it all pan out. So I'm saying that it's more of that happening than what happened with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for them, they like just like I'm gonna use myself as an example. I've been in situations, you feel me? I grew up on the block. I had as a matter of fact, I even had more reason to jump into the shit than a lot of the cats that was out there doing the shit.
Yeah.
Right? But I had to make a conscious decision. Number one was my mama. Right? I'm like, damn, I can't put my mama through it.
Exactly.
Like, you feel me?
Right.
And then the dirt that I didn't do it on my block. Right? Like, how are you banging in front of your mom's house? Like,
Right.
or your grandma's house?
No respect.
Like, no respect. So I had more respect than that for my folks. And I knew if something happened to me, the pain that was gonna bring my folks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The disappointment.
So I did not want to put myself, you know, everybody had a run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody had a little run, right? I had my run. But at the same time, I always had on my mind, like, I got to do whatever I'm doing smart. I'm not going to
Absolutely.
glorify none of this
Absolutely.
shit. When you see me, you're going to see an L7.
So I'm gonna say this. Some of y'all need to change your environment. Now,
That's another thing.
I ain't gonna lie. Some people, they want to do this. That's what they want to do. If they had a choice and they had a decision, like, this is what they would choose. But for those of you who don't want to do this, who feel trapped in this, who feel like a product of your environment, who feel like it gotta be something different than this, who really don't want to do that, it's gonna be difficult to make that change in that environment. If you have any resource to change your environment, do that.
Absolutely.
Because it is hard to make that change in the same environment where it's happening at. We're gonna let Eham and Frisco do their necessaries and unnecessaries about whatever they want to do, their necessaries and unnecessaries.
I thought we
about.
was going to do genocide. Did we run out of time?
We did genocide. We did homicide. We did genocide. And we did suicide.
Oh, yeah,
and
we did
went
cover
back
genocide.
to genocide. This is what we talking
Genocide
about
is
right
in
now.
pride, huh?
Yeah,
Genocide is
the whole
the whole
conversation has
conversation
been
is
about,
genocide
you know
shit.
what I mean? Because even suicide is genocide. If you're a black person killing yourself,
Man,
that's still a black
black
person
people
killing a
killing
black
black
person.
people,
That's
definitely
still
genocide.
genocide. You feel me?
Genocide.
So, whatever you wanna necessary and unnecessary on
We gonna let our guests go
Mr.
first.
Helm.
You gonna let the guests go first? Okay, thank
sure.
you. You know, I feel like this, that first we need to stop the violence in the black community. And I know it sounds cliche, but the unity is everything, because we got a bigger enemy that we fighting than ourselves, right? It's all good until you get right. When you get right, the enemy come at you even harder, right? You know what I'm saying? And so, get knowledge of yourself, man. Learn your history. Learn where you come from. Learn what your folks did, your ancestors did, man. Learn about Marcus Garvey, man. Learn about Elijah Muhammad, man. Learn about Martin Luther King, man. Learn about, Denmark Beeson, man. Pick up a book. Learn something. Watch a YouTube documentary.
Read a book.
Watch a YouTube documentary on some of the names that I just said.
The information is out there way easier than it was for us.
And you will see.
Nat Turner.
We had Nat. Come on now.
Nat Turner.
And you will see what we really fighting against. You know what I'm saying?
Martin and Malcolm. Just start there. Martin and Malcolm.
Yeah, start with them.
Martin and Malcolm.
So that's the necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The necessary is learn about your folks, because we stand on the shoulders of some great people, and we can't let them down with this. We can't let them down with this.
They did not give us freedom so we could kill each other.
That's it.
Man,
They did not fight for our freedom for us to kill each other. For real. My bad, E. Go ahead.
Oh no, you already cut me off. No, it's
You had
all
me
good.
hyped up. You know how you do that motivational thing?
Yeah, he get all-
That guy was beat up by a police.
Man, look. But look who we was fighting against back then.
Right. Now we fight against each other.
Now we see back then.
Tables
I'm
and
glad you
systems.
said that.
It's the systems.
Back then,
No, the systems.
right?
We need to be
We
fighting.
had fight. We was fighting against. We was fighting with. We wasn't going
Jim
against.
Crow.
Man, we was going against
The government.
the SF,
You feel me?
right? Because they touched one of us.
Mm-hmm.
We on the back of the bus coming from school. They touched one of us.
Mm-hmm.
They touch one of us, it's like they touching all of us, and that was the mentality that we.
It sure was.
that
When
we
black
had.
people were black people.
We lived
Now
this.
everybody did come together, and we was all from different places aesthetically. You know what I mean? Because it was hella people there. Everybody there came to court and testified for me. Like, yeah, they just whipped them off the bus, and started beating them up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we wasn't even doing nothing.
And the police,
Somebody playing the radio. We got
Oh,
off
we
the
talking about something that happened.
with us.
with us
Oh,
when
okay.
we was in
Yeah.
high school. You know what I
We got into a
mean?
big fight with the
Yeah,
police.
with the police. They broke my back. They did me in bad. You feel me? And I was just getting off the bus because they told us to get off the bus because we had the radio. We like, man, we could just wait for the
He
next bus.
blamed me to this day.
I
for that.
do, because he went off 5% on, we ain't got to turn down the radio. Who told you? I said, man, just get off the bus. It's San Francisco. They run every 15 minutes, man. We got a radio. We need like, man. Just
This
get
is
off.
part-
you wasn't trying
this
to get off the
part.
bus?
No, my brother, no, I wasn't. But, no, my brother had the radio. Okay. The police came on and told my brother to turn the radio down. So we sitting there like this,
So they
just
just
seeing what
stopped the
they
bus
said,
and they were just
and
fucking
they
with y'all?
charged my brother. We wasn't finna let that one ride. They charged my brother.
Nah, I went up on that little corner.
So
They
what?
go off a backup. It was hell
I
of
was
a.
fighting with the police.
Yeah, it went up,
Man,
bro.
that was a common thing. You couldn't technically you really couldn't get no stripes back then
Yeah.
unless you was down to do that, because what the OGs would tell us is you can't not be a punk part time. Like you have
Now
to.
they had Bill hemmed up when I got off the bus. I'm like, hey, what is y'all doing? And they swooped me, and it was going down. It was rounding down in the wheel.
I was off the
up.
chain over there. I was subverting, honey. I wasn't doing all that. I was
Dragging it. What's your necessary and unnecessary? What's your name? What's the man
It
name?
made 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that what you were-
Nah, I was thinking of what's Johnny Depp name on Pirates of the
Oh my
Jack
God!
Sparrow.
Every time I
What's
wear a
your
little scarf or
necessary-
something,
What's your
like, I
necessary
try
and
to switch it
unnecessary?
Anyway, my necessary and unnecessary. Unnecessary, we already spoke on, is violence.
Yeah.
Mainly amongst black people, amongst each other. They say there's no such thing as black on black crime, but there is. There's white on white, there's Asian on Asian, there's
Yeah.
You know,
Italian on Italian.
all of
It's
that.
white on white.
There's all of that.
Palestinians on Iranians.
And you're more likely to commit crime against somebody of your own race or in your own environment. So that's one thing I really wish we could really just stop is the violence and the killing of each other. Seriously, I've always said, even when I was a little kid, what's necessary is unity. Absolutely. I feel like if we could unite, like really, we all could just put the guns down and just stick together like we used to in the 50s and the 40s. You know what I mean? It would be a beautiful thing, but I don't ever see that happening, honestly. I don't, because it's so many different mindsets and different situations. And like we were saying, like eye for an eye, you kill my cousin, and you know, it's always gonna be that person in the family who's gonna feel differently. So I just feel like we'll never see that day. At least we won't. I don't feel like it would be awesome though.
Okay, my necessary. I think the most necessary thing that we could do right now, honestly, is to work together. You know what I mean? Like, you look at the real Black Wall Street, you look at Black people, like my great-grandparents and them, they bought as much property as they could, and they family bought, and they bought in the same neighborhood, and they would buy up stuff, and then I think the working together and building together will alleviate a lot of tensions and cut down on the violence if we can come together and really work with each other. You know what I mean? Like, work. We all after chasing the same dollars. You know what I mean? Why not work together? Everybody want to be the man and make it on their own. You know what I mean? I think that if we provided more opportunities for the youth, if we had more things in position, if we had more plays for each other, and build a network of, so we could, if somebody really come and they got everything they need, we could put them on instantly. That should be a possibility, because if Brad graduated from Harvard and his dad worked for this firm, he's finna be a junior associate in that firm. He could have got straight D's in Harvard. But the network is already set up for him to succeed. We need to build a network that's set up for, first of all, us to succeed, and then be able to turn on somebody else's success. Because the youth, a lot of times, don't even have options. They stuck there. What options do they have? Their family ain't got no property. Their family don't own no business. Their family don't even know nobody that got nothing to do nothing to help them do something. They stuck in that position because there's no opportunities for them. So I would say if we could focus on just the network and the working, that would alleviate a lot of violence and create more opportunities for those who don't want to participate in that type of stuff. So that's the necessary. The unnecessary, I would say, is I don't know, don't do nothing you don't gotta do. You know what I mean? I'm all for self-defense, don't get me wrong. Please don't sit up there and, you know what I mean, and not defend yourself if you need to defend yourself. But the acts of violence that's committed for, you know, silly reasons is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. The continued grudge, beef, I don't even care if you don't have to like nobody. It's plenty of people I don't like. But I'm not riding around every day trying to knock them off. I have better things to do. Find you something better to do than go around looking for somebody to knock off. Knock it off.
I cannot.